What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dawg House Podcast with your host, JayRod and
JDawg.
We are back. I am back from Oregon. I had a beautiful trip over there. And what happened?
What was the weather? What was the weather like over there?
The weather was
cold because you're up north, right?
It was cold. It wasn't much colder than it was here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It wasn't too cold. It was like sunny. Sometimes it was cloudy. It wasn't too bad. But every time I go there, I want to go back.
Really?
We were just talking about this on the last podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. When you were saying yeah.
I want to go back when it's warmer. I would like to go back to the same gym and obviously have more people there next time and then visit the coast, spend time with my sponsor as well.
Last time you went, was it during summer? Was it warm?
It was winter.
You haven't been there yet during warm weather.
It was cold when I went because I was even further north the first time I was there, and I jumped in that waterfall. It was like 30 degrees outside.
Right.
I was freezing.
Damn.
Worth it. Yeah. Absolutely worth it. But yeah, what happened?
You said you had 2 seminars out there or one?
I did just one seminar, but 2 days. And I taught at Clever Jiu-Jitsu Academy. Beautiful gym.
Really?
They're a new gym over there in Medford, Oregon, but one of my favorite looking gyms I've ever been to. Yeah. It was beautiful.
I'm jealous.
It was all white, and they had very nice wood accents. And then like sage green accents as well. So they had art on the walls that was sage green.
They have an Instagram page?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to I have this vision of how I want my gym to look like, and I have some inspirations of what I want it to look like, you know? And so I'm curious if it kind of fits in that same vibe. Yeah. Have you seen the inside of AOJ?
Oh yeah.
Brother.
Yeah. That's
that's a clean gym. Clean looking,
clean.
Dude.
Yeah.
I want a clean looking gym like that.
What helps that even more so is how they have everyone either wearing white
or black
gis or black gis.
Their no-gi sets. Their no-gi sets are all black or all white.
Yeah, that's
it just looks so I don't know.
Professional.
I just want to touch it. Yeah, this is professional. I want to be there. How much your daily mat fee?
Yeah, they do a good job of kind of the aesthetic and the vibe that they're putting out.
Looking
there.
professional, that's a good way to put it. That's a big thing to people. When it looks professional that, it's almost more respectful. People give more respect to it.
I agree.
But did the gym you're talking about, was it clean like that, or was it just
absolutely entirely clean? Just everything was just. It looked like brand new.
Wow.
Which they are a fairly new gym, but yes. Just clean looking. That on the borders of the mats they had wood accents, and then they had benches that were wood. And
was it white mat and tan wood?
Yes. Oh. Yeah.
Oh.
And then they had, in the corners of the rooms they had plants and stuff. So little green and browns, and it's very nice gym.
I like that.
So if you guys are ever in Medford, Oregon, please visit Clever Jiu-Jitsu Academy. It's a very beautiful place, as well as very kind people, nice instructors over there.
Nice. That's so dope.
And then at nighttime.
Oh, here we go.
At nighttime, I got to spend some time with my sponsor, my good friend Max. He runs Killer Defense, and he is awesome. He took me to his place. We go downstairs, and he's got, first of all, beautiful house.
He lives in Oregon.
Yeah, yeah. And took me downstairs to his lair. He's got a room with a lot of firearms.
He told me to put on these handcuffs. I wasn't sure why.
But he had a lot of fun stuff down there, man. And we just took a bunch of guns out, and we loaded them up in some bags, cases, whatnot. Took them up to a private range, some of a family member's spot. They have a bunch of land, and they just have a little range that they set up over there. But we like kind of parked the truck and hiked up there. It's pitch black, so obviously we need night vision goggles for that.
Can't see.
So it was such a wild experience putting on the night vision goggles for the first time, because it's just like the games.
Really?
Even better than the games. Like, you put them on, and there's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just,
you can see.
It's like the game. You can see. It's dark, but then you put them on, and then you can see. It's crazy.
It's the best way I can explain night vision, baby.
Everything turns green, and you go from not being. I remember when we played a little bit with it at his place. Right, we're looking over his balcony, and I'm pulling them up to my head. You're looking under the balcony. It's pitch black, nothing. Mm-hmm. You put them on, and then you see everything. You see the like logs, the fucking trees down there and shit. Like probably like 40, 50 meters away, you can see like a pile of like hand chopped wood and stuff like that.
Wow.
Like, you can see everything. It is crazy.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, really, really fun time. So really appreciate Max for taking me out. Of course, shot some guns, had a little bit of fun. Shot a shotgun for the first time. That was awesome.
Really?
Was not as much kick as I expected. But obviously, there's like different, different. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what the main differences are between.
It could be. I think a big difference is what round you shot. It feels like buckshot, or if it was a slug.
That's right. Yeah.
I think if it's like a slug or like the big rounds, you shoot out a shotgun that has more kick.
Yeah.
It also depends, I guess, when like the stock on the shotgun.
Yeah.
I know my dad has the hydraulic stock on his shotgun, so it kind of like absorbs a lot of the kick.
Sick.
But
yeah, it was a good time. Got some good food over there as well. God, where did I go? I think the place was called Thai Pepper.
You had night vision and you had guns. You didn't kill an animal?
No, we're waiting for. So there's bobcats and up there and some bears and whatnot. So I was like, I'm fucking ready, brother. Yeah. we got set us up where we're all wearing vests with level 4 plates in the front and in the back, and we got mags in front of those things.
Sick.
We got he gives me this helmet. I put the helmet on, and I'm like doing the math. I'm like, wait a minute, this is like $20,000 on my head. This $20,000. The night vision goggles was like 15. I'm like, jeez. Oh my god, 15. They put them on. I'm like, it's worth it.
Yeah,
it's worth
15.
it. Absolutely. And then all the other accessories.
That's crazy. Now you know why the taxes are so high in America to afford to buy all that stuff for the military, dude.
Yeah,
they spend billions of dollars on on those things, man.
Yeah. God. And those aren't even like the most expensive ones. Like there's one that he said he's getting soon, which is like supposed to be like the one that like the one you see in Call of Duty where they have like 4.
Oh, the 4. Oh, those.
Guess how much that thing is?
How much?
It's around $50,000.
$50,000.
$50,000
for some goggles.
Night vision goggles.
Man,
crazy.
Yeah, I bet. Imagine the type of gear that like SEAL Team 6 has that we don't even know about yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They're using like that next generation of stuff that's not released.
Drones over there. Like,
yeah, that's true. The drones are wearing the goggles. Go out there, get them.
Oh man, yeah. But Oregon was a great experience. Hopefully, I come back when it's warmer. I would like to go see the Redwoods, Redwood National Park, see the coast, and obviously teach.
You tried seeing the Redwoods, right? Didn't you just do a trip recently when you said you went to the Redwoods?
In California, you're saying?
Yeah, we got the big pine cone.
Okay, that was Sequoia National Park. I don't know why I remember now. I couldn't remember back when I spelled out the entire thing for you. Couldn't pronounce it.
Okay, yeah, I remember.
But that was Sequoia National Park. But Redwoods is different, I think. I'm pretty sure. It's different. It's different. What else is there? What's happened? Oh, I was also gifted. something. This was one. this is my favorite gift I've ever received from someone.
Really? I gotta see now.
This is my favorite gift. Now, this is different from receiving stuff from sponsors, because if I had to pick, it would be the rifle that.
What about the cookie I gave you wrapped on Christmas?
You know, I kept that for a very long time, and I opened it up as moldy months later. So
I am a cookie wrapped.
I had that thing for a
You
very
did? I was
long
surprised.
time,
I was like, wow, he still has that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But this is El Señor jewelry. A kind sir, but he's from Hawaii. He creates jewelry. And he made this for me, and I love it.
Damn. Oh, damn. It's literally someone getting choked.
That's sick.
Wow.
I love it so much. I'm going to post them on my store soon, but
can y'all see that?
Thank you, El Señor.
Dude, that's so sick.
Yeah. It's
I've never seen that before.
Yeah,
I've never seen that on a necklace.
I would assume this is one of one.
Yeah, it's one of one. Actually, it's one of two. It's funny you say that. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna hold it some, okay?
You have to put it all the way in.
Okay. Just breathe out it.
Mom, can you just do it?
I know I shouldn't curse in front of my mom, but cauliflower ear sucks. I use Collie Buds ear magnets. I really wish I would have had these magnets, but my ears were messed up. These keep my cauliflower ear at bay. They're the original and best quality cauliflower ear magnets on the market. Step 1, drain your ear. Step 2, pick your buds. Step 3, put them on your ear. Make the right decision. Invest in these Collie Buds so your ears don't look like chicken nuggets like mine. Check them out on Amazon or colliebuds.com. I had ears. Train with your buds. But yeah, I'm gonna start wearing this very soon.
That's so sick.
I'm between wearing this and wearing my gold chain I had growing up, because it has the cross on it. I read a lot of the Bible
really?
While I was in Oregon. Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah.
Of the
new one.
Oh, you got the new one.
I bought the new one. Yes.
Was it easier?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. That one was I started reading and I was like, wow, this is like actually digestible.
Yeah.
It's not like a fucking puzzle for me to like navigate.
Yeah, it's so much easier to read.
So I spent a lot of time. I've been reading it every day since.
Yep.
That's why I was asking you those questions. Mm-hmm. You guys didn't hear about those questions, but earlier we were talking about what were we talking about? We were talking about what was the question that I asked you?
It was, I see a lot of people saying that like Jesus is the Son of God, but yet in the Bible it says he's God and the Son of God. Yeah. So like, how can that be?
Yes. Yeah.
And so that's a very, very typical question that people normally, when they get to that point, they ask and get very stumped on.
Yeah. Yeah. That was quite confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I also learned that it's more than just kind of reading the Bible.
What do you mean?
Like, I guess obviously it depends on what you're trying to do, right? Like people can read the Bible and get the gist and whatnot. And take what they want from it. But if they're actually trying to change for whatever reason it is, you have to... I've also seen quite a few videos on my social media popping up of a kid and an older guy talking about Christianity. And they kept saying how you have to like practice these things essentially like every day, and it's not a matter of like giving up certain things. more than it is giving up like your heart, I guess.
I think I know what you're trying to get to. Yeah, it's basically like making the decision to almost like commit to Jesus, or like you basically a lot of the Bible is coming to a conclusion, which is hard for a young prideful man to accept this, but it's like you are Jesus's almost like slave. Like our whole point is to serve him. You're a servant to Jesus. Like, and that's, for me, that's, I hear a lot of people, that's hard to accept. It's like giving up your heart and your life to like him, like you live for him. Right. And it's like, but what about, what about the medal I want to win, or what about the money I want to make? Like, isn't that a big part of my life too? And it's like, yeah, it is, but you're put on here to serve him, really. And it's like,
yeah. And if that becomes, if those things like pursuit of money, like overcomes your life, that can be almost like that can be a sin.
Yeah.
Right.
It can be. That's another topic that was really that I like to try and dive into more, because I like money and I want more of it.
yeah, for sure.
And so it's like,
I feel like it's more a matter of comfortability more than anything else. So
yeah, it's like a lot of the stuff you want money for is to get things that you don't need at all, Yeah. And it's more like selfish things why you want it. But in the Bible, a lot of times, especially so far, like in the Old Testament, God gives people who listen to him rewards, and a few times the reward was wealth. So, you hear some people say, money is the fastest track to hell, but then you see God giving some of his best servants wealth as a reward. Mm-hmm. But if you listen in the Bible, it wasn't money. It was like land, cattle. It was stuff that made you wealthy at that time, but not necessarily money, where I'm like, okay, was that just because that was just a time period? You know what I mean? Or was it because he didn't want to give them money and then they go spend it on something bad? Mm-hmm. So let me just give you the good stuff that you should spend your money on. I'll just give you that. Or if it was just, because back then, that's sometimes cattle and land was the currency when you trade and stuff.
I'll give you my goat.
Give you my goat for the shirt. But I don't know. I still want a lot more money. I
don't think that's necessarily an issue. I think it can be an issue when it turns into.
I think if you're selling yourself for it is when it starts to become a problem. Yeah. Right. It's like you have as a man, you should have, virtues and morals that you stand by, and you'll never break those. Mm-hmm. And no matter, you really, really want something, but then when you get to the bridge where it's like you have to cross this bridge of breaking your virtues and your moral, it's like, okay, well then I don't get the money.
And if you do what? What if it's not about money? What if you do cross that bridge?
Of what, breaking your morals or virtue? Mm-hmm. For just anything?
Yeah, like committing a sin, essentially, right?
Okay, so like sin. So
and you just repent.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's all there is.
You repent, but I mean, he'll know if you're being serious, or if you're just doing it as just because it's the right thing to do. Yeah, it's like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do, so let me do it. But it's like, but if you're not trying to change at all, you're not fixing it. It's just like, all right, I'm just gonna keep doing this, but I'll just make sure I'm sincere when I say sorry.
That's not how it works.
It's not gonna start. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. So I also thought about two different things, comparing Christianity to other religions, referring to how a lot of times, and not that other religions they're doing things wrong, it's what they believe, whatnot, but they give certain things up, as opposed to Christianity essentially just giving your heart. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like other religions, give things like their time, or like they do fasts.
Yeah,
or like,
fast. They do rituals, traditions like that.
But like praying like 5 times a day, stuff like that. Not that these things are wrong. These things are wrong, guys, but it's just different.
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, no matter how much people talk, at the end of the day, no one really knows, right? At the end of the day,
for sure,
we're all just trying to gather the data throughout history that we do have and paint together the best way what we think we should do. But I actually went to church while I was home for Christmas, and the preacher, the pastor, or priest, in the Catholic Church is a priest. He was actually talking just about that, how like that's what separates Christianity from a lot of other religions, is that a lot of other religions think that they have the power to get themselves into heaven.
No.
And Christianity is accepting that you're powerless.
Yeah.
That you aren't worthy and you don't have the power to get yourself into heaven. Because the way he explains it is, other religions, it's okay if I pray 5 times a day, if I help the lady cross the street, if I say these certain prayers and I don't fold on doing that, I do it every day, then I'll get into heaven. Or blah blah blah. Or if Buddhism is if I can reach Buddhahood, basically if I can be like Buddha, I can be very righteous, but I'll get into heaven. Blah blah blah. Christianity is accepting that the criteria to get into heaven is literally perfection. It is, you have to be perfect to get in heaven. And the catch is, you're not perfect.
No one is perfect.
You're not perfect. You're a sinner. No matter how, exactly. So it's like, well, then how do you get into heaven? Yeah. So it's like, well, then how do I get into heaven? And that's when you have to believe that that's why Jesus died on the cross. Was because he knows that you're not perfect and that y'all fell to original sin with the start of Adam and Eve. And God was like, okay, I'll send someone down to save y'all.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yep.
I was also I pretty much I was reading the Old Testament when I was reading the Bible that you gave me, but with this new Bible I started reading pretty much from the New Testament. I don't know why. But I just felt like that was
the New Testament's definitely more what's the word, like it's not applicable. Basically, it's easier to not only read but apply to your life, because New Testament's when Jesus is there and present.
Okay, so if that's the New Testament, what is the Old Testament?
Old Testament is before Jesus.
Before Jesus
came. Yep.
I see.
So it's a lot of just people like Abraham, Moses. They're getting talked to by God. God's telling them that someone's coming, that someone will be there. My son will come, and they're like, "Where is he?" Blah blah blah.
What's he look like?
What does he look like? Blah blah. And then Jesus comes, and it's a big uproar of, okay, this is the guy he's talking about, and people going, "No, it's not. That's just a prophet."
I see.
That was the big divider.
I see.
Right, and then
Interesting.
You have eyewitnesses saying, no, like that guy claimed he is God, and he is the son of the Father. We saw him do miracles, we saw him walk on water. Like, no, that's him. And so they ask him in the Bible, which it gives me chills when I think of this, is they're like, are you God? Who are you? And he just says, I am. That's all he responds with I am, meaning I'm everything. I just am. Like, and everyone was like, all right, he's the guy. Like, you're in, brother. You're in. Come on, brother. Come on.
Whatever you say, we're following.
Yep. So then a lot of people still believe that like it was just because people like Moses. I mean, Moses split the sea with his staff, and he was a prophet.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, we've seen other people
do
miraculous things as well, and they weren't God.
How did he split the sea?
Well, because God, in the story, God puts His power in that staff, and they're getting chased down by these guards, by these people to get killed, blah blah blah, because Moses comes and he warns them. I forget the town or who it was. It was some sort of. I forget his name, but basically warns them, hey, y'all are all worshiping a false god. like this guy, the prince of Egypt, he's not a god. Because in that culture, they treated him like he was a god. He was a pharaoh, right? And he was like, no, he's not a god. Stop worshiping him like such. The real God is a guy who I'm talking to, and I'll prove that to you. And so it basically warns them, if God has told me if this doesn't get fixed here, or y'all listen to me, a lot of bad stuff is going to happen here. And it did. They got swarmed by locusts. People were dying from illness. And then I think God killed his firstborn son, the Pharaoh.
Really?
Yeah. Or I believe so. I just watched the Moses movie like a few months ago.
Moses movie, as in the one where the guy looks just like Jesus.
No, that's the TV show.
It's a TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a TV show. It's actually it's supposed to be a really good TV show. I haven't watched it yet though. But there's actually an animated movie of Moses, and I watched it. But anyway, he gets chased down to that sea, and he's stuck. And all these people that he told to follow him, they're like, "What now? Like you just got us killed." And he sits down and he starts praying, like, "God, this is what you told me to do. Is this how it ends? Like, this is what you wanted me to do?" And God tells him, just put your freaking staff in the water, dog. And he's like, what do you say? Put his staff in the water. He's like, all right, boom. And you know what's crazy?
What?
If you look into how historically accurate the Bible is, it's scary. It will scare you.
I believe you've talked to me about things like this before. And you said... I remember thinking this weekend about, you said some lake is drying up and how that Euphrates River. Yeah,
that was talked about in the Bible.
And if it dries up, then that means
it's supposed to be like the start of like the series of chains of prophecies that will lead to the second coming of Christ, which he promised he's coming back. He told everyone I'm coming back, and when I do, it's not going to be the best day for people who don't believe. But anyway, yeah, the Euphrates was one of those. There's something about some sort of mountain over on that side of the world. Can you imagine
Jesus?
Bruh, I think about it every day.
Hey guys.
About to wipe the earth. Be right back. Hashtag everyone's effed. Like, dang, dude. In the Bible, it talks about that day when he comes back, the second coming, that like the way that they describe how he's going to be is like terrifying.
Really?
Yeah, like
how Jesus.
Yes.
Really?
Like he's in the Bible, like the prophecy that he's going to return. He's going to come down on a white horse, eyes of fire, and the prophecy that is he pulls a sword out of his mouth.
Really?
Yep. And he comes down with a whole army of angels.
Sword of blasphemy.
Yeah, exactly. Comes down on an army of horses. Michael the archangel on his right side, eyes burning, sword out of the mouth, and just everyone's screwed. Who failed to, the guy over there who's raping 5-year-olds. You're up first, buddy.
Yeah.
Like you're up first. Oh gosh.
So what? Michael the archangel. I haven't read about him in the book yet, but what is...
He's supposed to be a stud.
Supposed to be a stud.
Yeah, I think he was...
Archangel. What does this mean?
Archangels are supposed to be like, I believe
just
archangel.
Studs.
Yeah, just the studs. I know guardian angel are supposed to be angels that kind of help humans, but yeah, Michael's supposed to be the stud. But where Moses parted the sea, because they were being... So the story is the sea parted and they went through... They're running on the bottom of the sea while the water is just being held up, and they're still being chased by these people, and the people follow them into this ravine they've made with Moses' staff. And when they get to the other side, the water collapses, and hundreds of people were like, that's what happened. I was there, blah, blah, blah. They went to the exact spot where that was supposed to happen. They found a bunch of chariots down at the bottom of the sea.
What is it?
Chariots. Like
chariot?
People you're on the back of a chariot, you're whipping the horse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they found a bunch of like...
Oh, in real life?
Yep. That's what I'm saying, dude. When I heard that, I was like, brother. And there's a lot of accounts like that where, like, historians are like, all right, it says this. All right, let's go there and check. And they go there and they find exactly what the Bible said they're supposed to find. They're like, all right, something's going on here.
Interesting.
Like when Saddam or
Saddam Hussein.
yeah, forget that guy. But it was like I forget the name of the town. But when Jesus had it rain like fire on that town, they went there. They went to that town.
Fire.
Yeah, they went there like this never happened, and there's no volcano around, nothing, blah blah blah. And they found something within all the rocks in the village or something, where basically it's like soot from like ashes from fire, like embedded in all these rocks and stuff.
Wow.
Or like it can't prove fire came out of the sky, but they're like at some point in history there was a massive fire here, massive, like engulfed this town. Because
that's the same town.
Yeah, exactly. And like based off the rock and the soot and blah blah blah, it traces back to the same time that the Bible said that happened.
Wow.
And they're like, oh shit.
Interesting.
And there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's like over 300 of things like that.
Like
the Bible
accounts of
that they can go back and trace it being accurate. And that's a lot of guys just explain, like, I mean, the Bible isn't really supposed to be this like crazy book that's like, oh, once you read it, you know, I believe everything now.
You're saved.
Yeah, it's you read it, it's a history book, and when you realize how accurate it is and how much wisdom is in the book, it's like, all right, at some point you got to start paying attention to what it's saying.
Yep.
You know.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
So reading the New Testament is okay.
Yeah. I mean, the Old Testament doesn't really talk too much more. The Old Testament's more, for me, haven't finished it, but it feels more like a history lesson of like
the Old Testament.
Yeah, it's kind of like just so you get kind of caught up. So when you read the New Testament, you kind of understand what's kind of going on.
Yeah.
But when Jesus kind of starts to tell you how to live and who to be and blah blah blah, that all starts in the New Testament. But I saw this interesting video too of this this priest on the Sean Ryan podcast. Sean Ryan just recently converted to Christianity, and that was after
Who's Sean Ryan?
The ex-Navy SEAL, ex-CIA agent. He's bald. Has a really big podcast. Films a lot of big name guys. I like his podcast a lot. But he just converted recently to Christianity after interviewing a bunch of different people of like religions and people who are Christians, people who are not, people who are atheists, people who aren't. And after all these interviews, he's come to conclusion. He's like, this is pretty legit. But there's a guy on his podcast that was like one of the greatest lawyers of all time. And he's like, when I say that, I literally mean that. He's in the Guinness World Record book of the greatest defense attorney of all time. Yeah. Yeah, it's like, it's not a fake flex. He is the guy. Yeah. He has like the most won cases as a defense attorney out of like anyone.
Wow.
So he's super good at just looking into stuff. He just knows his stuff, right? And this priest challenged him. He's like, why don't you, and he was an atheist. He goes, if you're so smart, you're so on your stuff, he goes, use your knowledge and your brain power to go and disprove what I believe. And the guy accepted the challenge, and he did it for like 6 years. He would not give an answer until after 6 years of just studying, reviewing stuff, all sorts of, that's what lawyers do, right? They go through all these documents, documentation, history, blah, blah, and he comes back and he converted to Christianity.
Wow.
I was like, that was a pretty crazy story.
Wow.
Yeah. He came back to the priest and he was like, I looked at everything, dog. It's a little,
you got me.
It's interesting enough to where, I will live this life for a little bit just to see what it's about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was interesting. Yeah. You can look up the lawyer and everything. He wrote a book about it.
Really?
Yep. He wrote a book about it.
Wow. Well, guys, there's your history lesson.
There's your history lesson. Trust me, I know.
There's your religion talk for the day.
Yeah. You have a match coming up.
Yes, I do.
February 7th.
February 7th. It has just been announced today. I will be fighting Ronaldo Jr. February 7th on Who's Number One.
On Who's Number One in Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa, California.
What's your game plan? What are you doing in there? What are you doing out there in the mats?
I'm gonna do what I always do.
I'll do whatever I want.
I think I am capable of doing whatever I want, but I'll just do what I usually do.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there will be a time where I'm not gonna say it. I'm not doing anything special for this match.
Besides winning.
But yeah, besides doing what I always do. You know, I'm gonna go out there, perform. I'm gonna have a fun time. I'm gonna enjoy competing. I'm gonna be present. I'm gonna do what I always do. Push the pace. Try to gas him. Takes back. Put him out. As always.
Will you ever? How much would a promotion have to pay you for you to compete against someone no gi and then have a match with them in the gi? Do you have a number in your head of how much you have to pay to do that? Or?
Well, I don't really care about competing in the gi or my competitive record in the gi.
Mm-hmm.
So
wouldn't take too much.
Just pay me another
like another match
for another match. Yeah. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah.
I am hopefully this will be on the B-Team YouTube channel. Hopefully training with Tynan in the gi after that competition.
Really?
Yeah. So
there?
Over there, yeah.
Oh, that's right. AOJ is in Costa Mesa, right?
I believe so. Yeah. So he's on the card. He'll be fighting Renee Souza. Yeah. Yeah.
Renee, you my boy, but that's a tough match. That's a tough match, brother. That's a tough match.
Yeah. So Tynan is fighting Renee Souza, and then the next day we'll have some fun rounds. In the gi, that's it. Make some money, have a good time, train.
Get some videos of inside that AOJ gym. Send it to me.
I think I'm trying to get Freddie or one of the film guys to come to obviously film the competition as well as training with Tynan, because I think that would be fun and good content for both of us, for both, B-Team, me and Tynan. Kind of I feel like obviously we're both into jiu-jitsu, but I feel like we're very different. Like AOJ and B-Team are very different aspects of jiu-jitsu. These guys are very kind of like traditional jiu-jitsu, straight and narrow, and the B-Team's kind of like I almost want to say like American. Like American grappling.
B-Team's been really, since I've been here, taking on a very like wrestle heavy style of jiu-jitsu. Like,
have to.
When I mean wrestles heavy, I don't mean like just like takedowns on the feet, but even just almost everything we learn and teach is prioritizing being on top.
Yeah, absolutely. And that just comes with the competition rule sets that we often run into. CGI and ADCC. But both of them are ADCC specifically is very, very heavy with their almost like their incentive to. I feel like their rule set favors the wrestler most times, and their judging favors the wrestler most times. So with that being said, it's easier for us to kind of lean towards wrestling.
I think it depends on the promotion, but
that's what I'm saying. ADCC.
ADCC. Okay. Well, even let me reword that. I think also it depends on who's in the seat.
Absolutely.
Because I've competed in a few ADCC matches, and I was going against a guy who the judges were from that guy's gym. And it was very like, bottom guy, you do whatever you want. You could lay there, but top guy, do everything. And if not, you're being called for stalling. Yeah. And it's like, all right.
Yeah, it's a very tough rule set because you can't just initiate like half-ass an initiation. You have to like really go for these things.
Yeah, I will always have this argument or discussion every few months of the whole guard pulling and wrestling difference there. And what I still don't understand is why people accept the fact that being on bottom is not a bad thing. If you're on bottom, you're losing.
I agree, but I'm entirely with you. I'm entirely with you.
All right, well, let's stop the podcast too.
But for the sake of their sport, it is inevitable for some people to prioritize starting from the seated position or just pulling guard.
It's because they refuse to learn a massive part of the sport.
Yes, but if us as wrestlers, we refuse to learn how to pass and control these people.
We don't, though. We're forced to have to learn that.
We are forced.
So it's like, why is it always the wrestler, hey, welcome to jiu-jitsu, learn leg locks, learn how to pass the guard, learn how to, which is good. It makes me better than you.
For sure.
But it's always the guard pullers. It's like, yeah, someday you have to learn wrestling. No, you don't. We'll just make the rules where I don't have to.
Yeah.
I can sit down and not get any penalty whatsoever.
Yeah. I think they should absolutely be penalized if they're not initiating. I think regardless of the position, what should matter is whether the person is being offensive or not, or whether they're trying to get some action.
That's my argument. Ready? It's if the bottom man is playing a super active guard, then that's okay. I agree. If there are guard pullers, I roll with Gianni a few times while he's here. The active guard, right? He's always looking for stuff. He's always pulling you in. Ethan, very active guard. Damien, active guard. Once you get to a certain level, the guards are active.
Absolutely.
Right? But once you get to a certain level, the guard passing is just as active. So who's winning if one guy's being active on bottom, one guy's being active on top?
It's entirely on initiations.
Okay, and here's what I'm going to finish with. If you're not initiating, you are stalling, right?
Yes.
Okay, here's the thing. If someone starts to pull me into a leg lock entry, I am encouraged not to turn and pull my leg away. That's disengaging. I'm encouraged to sit there and learn the technique to defend the situation without pulling away. But when we're on our feet, when I could possibly score on you, you're allowed to completely disengage, sit to your butt, completely negate the situation, and no one cares. That's not fair.
You are right. You are right.
That's the biggest disengagement of all.
Yes.
Is being in a neutral position where I could score and you go, nope.
I completely agree. And I agree that the whole thing with if bottom man is pulling you into a leg entanglement and just how you were saying, you're forced, or not forced, but they encourage you countering as opposed to you clearing grips and resetting and then initiating again, which I completely agree with you. That is wrong. Yeah. That is entirely wrong.
Yeah.
But I will say in a rule set like ADCC, like think of my match with Chris Wojcik, where he's constantly at Worlds, he's constantly looking to pull legs in, and I'm constantly breaking grips, resetting, initiating. He's doing the same thing. He's clearing his own grips, looking to invert, attack legs. So it's just, and we did that for the entire match. There was nothing. There was nothing.
Yeah.
We just did that over and over and over for 15 minutes straight.
That's the thing is, no matter what the rule set is, people will always try and find a way to like cheat the system or play the system in a way where like, well, I'm still playing to the rules. You know what I mean? And for the top man, an example of that would be you and what you did with Chris's match, but a big one that comes to mind is Dorian.
Yes.
Dorian does not counter leg locks at all.
Yeah.
He's a big pull your leg out, go away, but it's like an immediate turn back, flank.
Yes.
Like it's visually, it looks like he's not disengaging, but he really is with the leg locks, but he's immediately turning in and going right into an attack.
Yes. But they're counting that, all that rep after rep. That's initiating.
Exactly. So if you play it right, you can still kind of disengage, but there's like a window where if you engage immediately after, they don't really count as disengaging.
And depending on your aggression as well.
Yeah, but if you kick out and you kind of like, they're just standing there, reset, and it's like, oh, you're disengaging.
Yes.
So you have to really play that line. And then guard pullers also cheat the system by, okay, in ADCC, everyone always says this, ADCC, you're not allowed to pull guard. Yes, you are. You are. after a certain point you can't.
Yeah.
Right, but everyone skips out that detail. Is as long as I pull guard before the second half of the match, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then even in overtime, it's like, well, in overtime you can't pull guard. Yes, you can. You can take a bad shot and you can pull guard from the shot. So all these guard pullers just take a bad shot,
hold it for 3 seconds,
hold it, and just take C guard. So you can still pull guard, right? So it's like when people are like, "Oh, well, ADCC changed the rule set to benefit the wrestlers." They tried, but they didn't.
I think there are holes with the AD. Obviously, there's holes with the ADCC rule set. I mean, there is no rule set that's perfect.
No.
With that being said, I think that ADCC, the main issue is just the fact that people are almost encouraged to stall. Not that the promoters are encouraging them to stall, but they're allowed to stall, essentially.
That's on people's strategy. They start to figure out, well, I can just stall until the last.
Feel him out.
Yeah.
I can feel him. Like, people have literally said this about my match. Oh, I can, play the first half, feel him out, see what he's trying to do, essentially allow him to do these things.
What Giancarlo Bodoni did with you in your match. You passed him twice in the beginning of the match. He's like, I'm not worried too much.
Exactly.
Because, people pass my guard, I'm not getting scored on.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's a problem.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
I don't think it's not a problem on his behalf.
No,
he's playing the game how it should be played, right?
He's doing nothing wrong.
But that is absurd. The fact that I can do something like that, if someone can pass in what would be a scoring position, have it not be a scoring position because of the time in the match.
That's so bonkers to me.
I feel like that's crazy.
That is so bonkers to me. Like, imagine paying money to come watch a match, and the match doesn't start until halfway through.
Essentially, yeah. That's exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, so what's the point of the first match? In case he might get a sub. Come on.
Yeah.
At these highest levels, that really happens. People are very cagey that first half of the match, because they're like, if I get past blah blah, as long as I ball up and they'll get submitted, I'm fine. And then the second half of the match is like, all right, let's start going.
Yeah.
It's like we just wasted 10 minutes.
Yep.
This first half of the match. Why not just make it 10 minutes instead of 20, or why not just make it 20 and points the whole time? That doesn't make sense to me.
Guys, comment down below what you think of this.
What is it? What's the answer? Put down in the comments a full paragraph. I won't read it, but I want you to put it there of what is the perfect rule set system we need to create.
I think sub only is great, but it's frustrating when you leave it up to the judges and you have biased judges. So, like, with that being said, I think I feel like even especially with this match, not saying that it will happen, but there is a potential of this happening. If I leave it up to the judges, I feel like there's probably going to be a bias against me. I feel like with B-Team and all the drama that B-Team's, Craig's always talking shit to someone, posting something,
stirring up the pot.
In turn, I'm here doing nothing, and B-Team is always in some drama, so they're I'm affected by these things. As frustrating.
I think CGI had a pretty good rule set.
I agree.
They really emphasized the top guy winning. Yeah. Which, because of that, made the guard pullers be very active.
Yes.
Like Levi.
Levi is always
that's
active.
Someone who he is enjoyable to watch him play guard.
Yes.
Like, it is like, wow, this is fun to watch.
Is a very talented guy.
Yeah, people who are like really, really good at the guard, it is fun to watch.
Yeah.
People who are just snagging stuff from the bottom and inverting and coming out the back. It's just like, all right, this is a good guard.
Yeah.
Egan O'Flanagan was playing an active guard during CGI too with Tackett. Yeah. So it's definitely doable, but the more heat you take off the bottom man, the less active he's going to be.
For sure.
Right.
Which is bad.
Exactly. If you were like, all right, if guy on top is winning, if we all start acknowledging that instead of being like, well, no, he's got to get he's got to try to pass this guy 20 times for us to consider that the top guy is engaging. It's like if we start putting a little bit more heat on these guard players around the whole sport. Obviously, at the very top 1%, most people are very active in the guard, but across the whole sport, guard players will start feeling the need to be more active. right? It's like, okay, you can play guard, fine. You can completely negate a scoring position and sit down, but you better get going.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very frustrating. Hopefully the sport comes to some sort of conclusion with the whole rule sets thing. It kind of really settles.
I think the matches need to be shorter too.
You think the matches need to be shorter?
Yep.
How long?
Well, everyone in jiu-jitsu smokes weed, so they don't have gas tank to begin with. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, it's just just too long. I've been doing grappling for over 18 years, and I'll get bored watching some of these jiu-jitsu matches.
Yeah.
And I do this every day, and I for the most part, I know what I'm looking at, I know what I'm watching, and I'll still be like, oh man, come on, like this match has been going on for 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I think with the ADCC final stuff, that is kind of absurd. You know, you could have a 30 or 40-minute match. That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. That is crazy.
I mean, we were training. We were doing 30-minute rounds for the build up for ADCC.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was doing those with Ethan. That was not fun.
Yeah, I remember the first time I did one with first one I did, it was with Kenta, and halfway through he just died. So obviously you don't know how to pace yourself for a 30-minute match.
Yeah,
and we got done, and he's like, holy shit.
Exactly. Imagine this as a promoter. You ready?
Yeah.
Kenta's tip of the spear, right? He's one of the highest level you can get in this sport.
Yep.
As a promoter, you think it's a good idea to make a match 20 minutes, make the first 10 minutes not points, so not other people are doing anything.
Yep.
And then by the second half comes around, both guys are tired, so they don't do anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you put them in a situation where it's like, you know, there's a good chance you're not going to get a lot of action at all.
Yeah.
Because the first half, people are feeling each other out. And then the second half, it's like, shit, we've been going for 30 minutes. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like, they'll just wait for that one burst of exchange and win by like a guard pass. You know, shorten those gosh darn matches.
So what do you think is a preferable time?
2 minutes. That's where I perform best. That first 2-minute mark, and then after that I'm done. No, I'd say UFC the 8 minutes I think is good. But then you have like the 5-minute overtime. 5-minute overtime. That's like, all right, now we're starting to go. I don't think it should ever be over 10 minutes.
Really?
Never.
Wow, interesting.
Never.
I feel like I've had given. That just means I'm not going about these matches accordingly, right? But I had this with, I think it was with my Pedro match. I was like, they're like, oh, did you get tired? And I was like, yeah, I'm tired, but like, fuck, like if I'm capable of walking off the mat, I was not tired enough. You know, there was more I could have done.
Yeah.
And that shit fucking haunts me.
Yeah. At the end of the day, though, it's like, as a sport, we're not trying to see how tired we can get. At the end of the day, y'all are all performers at the end of the day. So we're trying to make more money. And so because of that, we're trying to put more butts in seats.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, it's like, well, I can roll 30 minutes and not get tired. Well, that's cool. Good for you. But the people who are paying your bills, or who are ultimately the people who is why you're able to get these big paychecks, they don't want to see that. You know, it's like they don't want to sit there and watch a 30-minute match when it's like all of what you did in that 30-minute match, you could have done in 10 minutes.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like,
I think just because there's so much nothing happening in between these certain exchanges or those highlights. But I think, like, let me ask you this. Going from a 10-minute round, right? We train 10-minute rounds pretty often at B-Team. We do a 10-minute round, and then we do a 6-minute round. How much shorter does that 6-minute round feel?
It feels significantly shorter.
Those extra 4 minutes change so much in the match. So much.
Yeah.
I do, not that I'm opposed to you know, those 8-minute matches or and whatnot, but I do think that they should be from 10 to 15 minutes typically, because there's, I think it's good for the round based systems, or like CGI where they have 5-5-5. I think it's good for who's number one, where they have, you know, they have their judge's decision, whatever, in between for every 5 minutes. But I don't know. I feel like it's so hard, especially when those people are being defensive and backing away, and then the match is over because there's only 6 minutes.
It's because there needs to be more ways to score.
So you think, okay, I also agree with this.
There needs to be more ways to score because I'm going to relate this to a wrestling match. Wrestling matches are significantly shorter than grappling matches.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever complained about them having to be longer? No one. No one has felt the need for them to be longer. Why? Yeah. Because they can get the job done in that time.
Yes.
And they can get the job done in that time because of the rules.
Yeah.
Right? It's if I push you out of that line, it's immediately stalling. Immediately.
If you take a step backwards.
Yeah. Yeah,
stalling.
you're being warned.
Yep.
So it's constant engagement, constant action.
It's forced.
It's forced. And so, like, let's say I can't take you down. Let's say I can't turn you. I can win from a stalling point. I can win from a push-out point.
Yep.
So there's still ways for me to win against someone who's stalling.
Yep.
So you never feel the need to, like, I need more time to take this guy down. Right? So I think if they tweak the rules a little bit where there's just more opportunities to score, then you can have shorter matches and people still they can feel like they can get the job done.
Yeah. Like how Fight Pass has a takedown counts as if you put the guy's knees to the mat or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that's exactly. And the more easier it is to score, the more engagement you're going to have because the more the other guy has to fight.
Yep.
Right? If I have to get taken down, my guard passed, both boots in to get scored on, then as the guy's taking me down, I'm not going to defend the takedown, but so much.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, no, if that guy gets you to touch one knee, it's a point. Then now you're defending everything. Yeah, you're defending everything. So there's more action.
Yep.
So
it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah.
I agree. It's just a matter of, who do we talk to about
it? I'm talking to you. I know you're listening to me.
The people. Let us know what you think about this in the comments.
Yeah.
If you guys have a better rule set idea, let us know. Write your paragraph down below.
Everyone's just like, y'all are completely wrong. That's how it should be. Okay, whatever. I had one more topic if we have time.
Of course.
Okay. I guess the last thing I want to finish with today is how do you deal with. So let me tell you my train of thought. Mm-hmm. I saw a post that was a really good. It really made me think of. I'll give you an image to put in your head of what it looked like. You have a circle. It's an all black screen. You have a circle that's filled in green, and then under that circle you have about like 6 circles that are half filled in red. And the saying said, "You can do anything, but you can't do everything."
How do I feel about this?
I was just saying, like, do you have that image in your head?
Yes.
Okay. How do you deal with let's say you want multiple things, but you have to pick what to prioritize. Because sometimes let's say you have 2 things. You can't do both of them at once because they're big enough goals where each of these demand your full attention, right? So you can't half-ass either.
So you're saying there is no option to
do both at the same time,
but there's an option to pick one or the other.
There's an option to pick one. When you have to do this in your life of prioritizing things that you want all of it, but if you try and do everything you want, then you're stretching yourself thin amongst all these different things. You're not going to necessarily do your best in this one thing because your effort's divided. What criteria are you going through to prioritize which one of these things get your most attention or most time?
Well, with something like this, you have to be selfish to an extent.
I think that's the key, but you can keep going.
You have to, like for me, I prioritize. First thing I do is train throughout the day. That's the first thing that I do. And essentially nothing is going to stop me from training, no matter what. And it's not a matter of, nothing is going to get, like, literally nothing, unless there's some sort of medical emergency, something like that. But aside from that, there's nothing that will appointment, no.
Yeah.
I'll reschedule.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So a medical emergency, or like if I'm traveling and like I was traveling and I was like coming back from Oregon and I was like, oh, sick. I'll land at like 4 or 5 and I'll come home, grab gear and go train at the night class. And then my flight was delayed by like 4 hours and I got home at midnight. I was like, nice. I didn't get to train that day. I was very frustrated because I was traveling all day long. But I'm just prioritizing.
So you would say, for example, if let's say you have 2 things you care about the most right now in your daily life. Priority number 1 is I always need to train. Now let's say out of nowhere, it's like, okay, train, or my mother just got in a bad car crash. I need to go to the hospital. It comes down to you deciding just being selfish and just that, like, I want whatever you feel like you want to do the most, not what other people want you to do the most, is what you'll choose.
Yes, but for something like that, like a medical emergency, exactly what I said.
Yeah.
So it's like if there's something like that, then fuck it, I'll go fly home. I'm in the position where I can.
So your criteria to make you change your mind on your priorities, in this case, would be family or possible death.
Yeah, family or loved ones.
So to help understand this and put this in a picture, you have a priority list, right? Your priority list is based off what you want, right? And it never really changes except for this small little criteria list you have of
exceptions.
If this happens, then my mind is changed.
Yes.
Okay.
Why? I feel like there's some sort of trap door behind all of this.
There's no trap door. I'm just trying to figure out my own thoughts as well.
Okay. What are your thoughts? Do you have the same thought process with this?
I do. But okay, let me just, I don't know what to think right now, to be honest. I don't know what to think.
Take your time, brother.
But I'll tell you the situation I'm in
see.
on why I'm trying to figure this way of thinking out.
Okay.
So I'm getting to that point in the gym process where it's starting to ramp up, right? It's starting to, nose to the grindstone. You got to start doing stuff, right? But then I'm also at that point with my training right now and stuff where it's like,
you're in camp.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you're in camp, or when's the next time you're going to compete? When are you going to start ramping up your competition schedule? And I'm at a crossroads where it's like, I can't half-ass either of these.
Yes.
Both these things are important enough where I can't fill up half my cup with this, half my cup with this. Yes. I have to choose for the time being.
But
how do I choose?
I don't think there is choosing. I think there's a matter of navigating your time. Whether that's, okay, fuck, I can't make it to the noon session today because this, but fuck, I can go to the 8 a.m. or, later I'm teaching, so I'll train there instead.
Here's the catch. I struggle with guilt when I try and balance 2 things that I care about, that if at any time one starts to pull away from the other, I feel guilty. Like, for example,
guilty for like
to myself,
to yourself,
like that I'm not doing this as well as I should be. And so then doubt creeps in, right? So it's like, for example, a specific situation I'm dealing with right now is I commit to a match that I want the match. I want that match. I commit to that match.
Yes.
To begin with, I didn't want to do it just because of the cutting weight, which is still kind of the case a little bit. I still want to cut the weight. And like, okay, now I'm at crunch time with the gym where I can't really be putting stuff on the back burner anymore, which I kind of was doing for a little bit. Like, I have practice coming up or I have teach class. I'll do that later.
Yeah.
But now it's got to the point where you can't push it back anymore. Stuff has to start being done, right? So it's like, okay, hey, we got to meet with this person. When do you meet? 12:30. Can you do another time? No, I'm busy. Meet 12:30. Okay, let's do it. But now I miss practice. Yes. So then I miss practice, and it's like, I'm not devoting myself to this camp. I'm not being serious about it. So then it's like, am I just wasting my time trying to commit to that when this is pulling me? And then vice versa, right? It's like, no, we'll just do the meeting tomorrow because I need to go to practice. And then it's like, if this fails, I'm going to look back and be like, well, it's because you were skipping out on these things that you should have been doing.
Why are you looking back?
What do you mean?
Why are you looking back? If it fails, it fails. Trust.
Okay. Well, then in right now, then I could be looking forward as well and being like, am I making the right decisions now to promise the best success later in both these scenarios?
Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Why worry?
Because I feel like this is my...
Like it's your life?
This is my last shot.
Why would you feel that way?
I mean, for the gym.
Why would you feel like that's your last shot?
Because it's involving so much money that I don't have this money again to put down if it doesn't work. So like I get in a point where I'm like, all right, I need to make sure I do this right. Like I need to basically put all my eggs in one basket. I need to treat this like a baby. Because then if this doesn't work out, I don't have another shot. I don't have the money to do this again. People who are willing to help me aren't willing to help me again for a second time. Like this has to happen now.
So your issue is time. If you're not training at the noon session and your guilt is because you're not training at the noon session and you're missing out on like the highest level of training because not everyone is at the other sessions, that's one thing. But if you can train at the other sessions, I think you have to like, especially in the midst of you opening up that gym, it's like, fuck. Yeah. I can't play video games tonight because I gotta wake up at 8 a.m.
Yep.
I gotta wake up at 8 a.m. I gotta train, and then I got a fucking meeting right after, and then I'm teaching right after.
Yep.
You have to make those sacrifices in times like this, and like, is your day actually full of meetings?
No, it's not. It's not full.
So what's your typical schedule like? Because you're still teaching, aren't you?
That's another thing. I had to talk to the owner about Kings, tell him how to step back. I gotta step back. Because for example, what my week looks like the rest of the week was I was supposed to go teach tonight, but I called off because immediately after this I need to go finish reading the lease that's been sent, because we're going back and forth with a lawyer, with an attorney of questions about the lease. So I'm literally reading through the whole thing. It's like 20 some pages of just like fine print. So
why don't you leave that to the Asian?
She's helping me as well.
Okay.
We're both doing it. Okay. Right. So right after this, boom, I go do that. Here recently, it's been go from here, drive from here to Kings, go teach, get out at 8:30, go read the lease. Read the lease during the week. By the time I get home, it's go to bed, or play video games. Right. Because throughout the week, I do fiend sometimes for like me time. Like when do I get me time? But tomorrow have a meeting at 3:30, so I'll go to practice. I'll immediately leave, go have this meeting. I have another meeting with a realtor agent right after that one.
For what?
Also asking her questions about the lease.
Okay.
Because she's the realtor for the landlord. So when we have questions, it kind of goes through her, and if she doesn't know, then it goes to the landlord. It's a bunch of hoops. God. Yeah, it's so annoying. And then Saturday have another tour of the same building, because I'm trying to figure out something inside the building that might not work for wall mats. So I need to go see it again to see if I can figure out how I'm going to do this. So it's just like it takes up so much of my mental space thinking about all these things and keeping up with this stuff, blah blah blah. And then I'll be like, oh, I didn't go to practice today, or I'm the type of person of when I cut weight, I get grumpy because I don't eat. I'm not eating blah blah blah. And I'm like, is that going to start to affect this now, where I'm pissed off all the time because I'm not eating, I'm cutting over 15 pounds, and then now I'm yelling at my fiance because I'm just pissed, and this is just making everything worse. You know what I mean? It's like, so I'm at a crossroads where I'm like, all right, how do I prioritize this? Can I dig through this enough to realize that there's some things that I feel obligated to do because other people expect me to do it?
And you're referring to competition with them?
Competition for some of it, and some of the things for the gym. It's like, maybe I don't want to do this today, but Teresa, she's depending on me to get this done today, right? So it's like, I need to make sure that some of this stuff is I'm choosing to do it, and I want to do this right now, or this is a priority because I want to do it, not because it's a priority because I feel obligated that other people want me to do it.
I see.
And the only reason why I'm having that thought is because I'm at this point where it's like, I need to compete more to get better. But then now I'm also at a point where it's like, I need to give time toward this gym, at least until it's up and running.
Yeah.
And at a point where it's like, okay, I can chill for a second. But right now it's like, hey.
Have you put any money down or anything?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's you up front before we even get the key to the building, 10 grand.
Really?
Up front.
Wow.
It's
just for
security deposit and first month's rent. Up front, boom. So it's like, all right, here's 10 grand. So you drop 10 grand and you have something else that you want to do over here, and you're kind of like, because this is so important, you're just kind of like, shh, like, I have to make sure this fire stays, you know, I don't want it to go out because I'm putting so much investment into this. So it's like,
but then you're trying to keep the other fire warm.
Exactly. I'm trying to jump between the fires, but if this one goes out, that's real bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, but I really want this fire to keep going.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say, I think if you've done something like you've committed to that competition, I think you have to commit your time to that competition.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of you putting the money down, is there like some sort of due date for you signing the lease or something?
Yes.
So how soon is that?
So we've agreed
and is it before the competition?
Kind of. It's more so of just the sooner this happens, the better, because we asked for 3 months of free rent. Mm-hmm. On the lease, it says your lease starts of you paying monthly rent April 1st, right? Mm-hmm. That clock has already started. Mm-hmm. So every day that goes by that the lease is not signed, or you're not moved in, or you're not having everything set up, that's eaten into your time. So basically we want 3 months, but it's already January 15th. That's already that being taken away, right? So like the
competition is February 15th.
17th. Yeah, February 17th. And it's not just his competition. It's just in general.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In general.
But specifically, this is the thing that's coming up right now, right?
Yes.
You're training for this specifically, right?
Yes. Yes.
I think that you have to prioritize the competition. Also, this is I'm not going to give you fucking professional advice. I'm not a professional on leasing and whatnot. I've never done anything like that before, but I will say, I think if you commit to the competition, I think that will benefit you, and that will in turn also benefit your business itself.
True.
As well as I think there's still, I understand you feel pressure because you're like, oh, we're losing time on this. This is what, like, we asked for time and we're wasting it. But at the end of the day, you still have extra time. You still have what? It's April 1st, you said? Mm-hmm. Bro, that's a lot of time. It's a month and a half.
Yeah, but when you start looking at the numbers, things take a lot. So we don't
numbers for what? For
like just for the mats alone.
Yeah.
We order the mats. It takes 12 weeks to get in.
So you order them now, and then that's it. All you can do is wait for them to come in, right?
True, but with the so far in this process that I've learned the most is everything will always take longer than you think.
For sure.
So it's like you order the mats. Okay, they say 8 weeks, but they get here in 12.
Yeah.
Okay, we order all the we have to order like kiosks, software to get made. We gotta wait for the website to be made. We have to create content. We gotta buy gear to make high level content. We gotta all the furniture is gonna be put in the building. It's like you if you keep tracing stuff back, it takes more and more time because you're like, okay, all I need is a couch. All right, let's order a couch. You order a couch. It's like, oh, it's out of stock. We gotta wait for it to come in. Okay, whatever. That's an extra week added, whatever. And then the person's like, okay, it's going to take us two weeks to deliver that couch. It's like 2 weeks. And now we're at 3 weeks just for a couch. Yep. So you add that extra time. It's all added to like everything you're ordering and everything you're trying to do in general. It always takes longer than what you think.
Yeah.
Like always. And I don't want to get to that point where it's like, all right, we've already started this clock. So come February, we only have 2 months.
Yeah.
Until we got to start paying. I don't want to be at a point where the gym's not open and now we're starting to pay rent and it's not open. Now this is just $3,000 being thrown out the window.
Yeah.
And it's like this boba tea that I go to sometimes. They had their building for a whole year before they got their business running. And the guy was like, we were paying rent for a year and the business was not open.
Why?
And because he ran into so many loopholes that he did not think was even a thing.
Really?
Where it's like, all right, let's open the business. Like, well, do you have this certificate?
That's right.
Sure. How long does it take? 6 months. 6 months to get a certificate? Yeah, because you're going through the government and they take long to do everything. Yeah. So it's like something always comes up where you're like, 10 weeks for that? And it's like, yeah, that's how it is. And it's like, Jesus. I'm running into that so much. Like, it's just so much of this extra BS. You're just like, in reality, I don't know. I feel like if I did this myself, it'd be done faster. Yeah, like, sure. If I just drove to Canada right now, pick this up myself and came and got it, like, it'd be faster than freaking taking a month to get here.
Honestly, yeah.
So yeah, that's just the stuff. That's like what's on my mind right now. Like, all right, starting February, we have 2 months to get the mats in, but do all this stuff. And we're running into a situation right now with the whole wall mats where I'm like, we might not even be able to put up a wall mat on the side where we need it. So now we might have to get a wall installed here. We need to get a wall put here, construction now, be able to put wall mats against it. So you run into these problems that just keep adding more and more time. And it's like, it's time we don't have.
I see.
So it's like, it's like, all right, all hands on deck. We need to do this because we're running out of time.
I will say, usually for stuff like this, I wait until the last minute.
That's same.
I wait until the last minute.
I do too.
And I don't let any of that pressure come on to me at all.
Just eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah, I'm just like focus on completely irrelevant stuff.
Yeah.
I just do my own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't let that pressure get to me until the times come. And I'm like, oh fuck, pressure. All right, let's get this done today. Mm-hmm. Given I understand that there is time limits and whatnot that you have to deal with and whatnot. I will also say whenever you need a hand with physical stuff, I've got the truck and everything. So
that's true.
Whenever you need a rod or two.
Need a rod or two.
I
still owe this guy a rod. I got his broken catching a catfish.
Oh, that's right.
I still owe him a rod. I was supposed to buy that and I haven't bought it yet.
Wow. Damn, time flies, dude. That's
right?
Damn.
That's my point. It's like, what? Fucking, it's been a month already.
It's 2025. Oh, man.
But yeah, you know, we can wrap it up here, but you know, like the biggest phrase that's really been sticking in my head during this whole process is the stress and pressure you're feeling are decisions you're not making.
So what do you get from that?
I've really been feeling that.
So what do you get from that? You feel like
I don't want to make a decision because it's a hard decision. But the longer you take to make the decision, the harder it is to make the decision. So it's like.
So what's the decision for you? It's whether to choose.
My decision is accepting that at least in the first year of opening up this gym, competition is not a priority.
Really?
Yeah.
So then with that, you're saying that, okay, for example, for this next competition, you're not taking it too seriously.
No.
And you're prioritizing opening up the gym.
Yeah.
I see.
But competition is important enough for me to where I'm like, if I'm not prioritizing it, then I'm just not going to do it at all.
It's going to fade.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do it at all, because if I can't, because I'm the type of person where if I can't do things right, then I'm just not going to do it.
I see.
Right. It's
So
like,
are you still in the match?
yeah, I'm still in the match. I'm just deciding, do I not do it, or do I just accept that I won't prepare for the match to the best of my ability in this case?
I see.
It's accepting that is the
Yeah.
hard part. It's the accepting of like, oh no, I can do both. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Pick,
Yeah.
or just be okay with that. You won't go in as prepared as you should have been.
I see.
That's the hard decision to make. And the longer I don't make the decision, the harder it is to accept it and or make the decision. And then by accepting it for this match, you're accepting that it's not a priority for this next chunk of your life.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
So it's like, the reason why it's hard to make a decision. Okay, I don't do this match. Whoop-de-doo. But it's not just this match. It's I'm making a decision for almost the rest of the year.
Yeah.
You know, so
If that.
and that's a hard decision to make.
Of course.
So,
Interesting.
especially for me when I'm good. I have.
You can probably perform at a very high level, regardless of even if you're having a camp or anything.
I think so too. And a part of me was looking at it as in like, I could use this as a form of an experiment. This is just thoughts bouncing around in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, hey, maybe I can go see that if I perform better by not caring as much. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
like
some
I'll
people
just go see,
some
these
people do.
have a few competitions where it's like, I'm not taking it too seriously. And they're like, oh, I'm performing better. That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm that person, but that's just me trying to find a way to justify feeling
not
that way.
fully-
Yeah. So it could be a bad thing as well, but
Interesting.
that's why I asked you that question.
You're in a pickle, brother.
I'm in a pickle.
You're in a pickle.
A lot of thought process. See, some people just wouldn't care about making a decision, but I put so much thought and just almost overthink sometimes, which is bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is
You
bad.
have
It's like
to-
at the
you
end of
have
the day,
to-
it's like, what do you want? Make the decision, move on.
Yeah,
Like,
that's usually how I am.
yeah,
Usually,
yeah.
but
But it's like, I care about getting better in jiu-jitsu, and you just have so many people being like, oh, like,
they want to push you.
they want to
towards-
push you to compete,
Yeah.
or specifically beat that guy or that guy. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you need to beat that guy.
I can hear demons say, "Oh,
yeah.
oh, you should fight him. Oh, that's a good fight."
Yeah, exactly. Like, they push you
Yeah.
blah blah, and it's like okay, well, you don't understand or know what I'm trying to decide between right now,
Yeah.
because both are so important.
Yeah,
You know.
Well, I want you to know that I understand.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. As always, please support the sponsors that support the Dawg House Podcast. Right now, we've only got Collie Buds, tried and true. Drain your ear, put these magnets on, and you'll be good to go. No more inflammation in your ears. We have another sponsor. We've been talking about the sponsor for a while. We had an issue. We had a little issue, a physical issue, not between the company.
First
or
day,
whatever.
just weep.
Yeah, first day, literally first day.
Oh, darn it.
So yeah, but we are getting that issue fixed very soon, and soon we will be showing you guys what we got.
Yes.
If you guys enjoyed today's podcast, please drop a comment down below. What emoji should they put down below?
Hell, this was a lot of stuff in this podcast.
It was a lot of dense stuff as well.
Each section was pretty dense.
Religion, gym versus competition,
rule sets and jiu-jitsu.
rule sets. Yeah,
prioritizing
put a little wrestling emoji. Those little two grapplers in the
wrestling,
wrestling stance.
or a wrestling or a brain. Just because my brain hurts after.
Dude, my brain does hurt.
My brain hurts after doing this podcast.
Today, Nikki Ryan came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I wanna do this thing from front head," and he puts me in a fully locked choke.
Yeah,
and he's like, "All right, you ready to go live?" I'm like,
I saw that.
Okay.
Your face is dead purple. You're like,
I was fine. I survived.
Yes,
but
yes.
he's like, "Yeah, I'm testing this new.
I'm testing this. Come here.
I need to figure out the finishing mechanics." But yeah, drop that comment down below. As always, like and subscribe, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.